Hi guys, it's Jocelyn. Okay, one thing that you might know already about me, but my superpower is consistency and organization. Okay, so I am like the queen of scheduling, of systems, of all the things like keeping track. That is my absolute jam, and I absolutely love to plan the shit out of everything. Okay, so I don't know, it is something I've had to learn 1,000%, like a bajillion percent, because my mom is completely opposite. Okay, and I think that's kind of what happens is when we grow up around something that is complete, like we get to see like how chaotic that is to like always be like living on like whatever, just like literally floating around, not having any sort of or any kind of destination, right, essentially. Okay, so it drives me crazy, and I grew up around it, and I was like that, and I definitely see how I was like that before I had my babies, when I was traveling and things like that. But as I had kids, I found that routine, as you moms watching definitely know, routine is so vital. It's so vital. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about my systems. I've kind of got them from various sources. I have a big virtual mentor that I adore. Her name's Ange Peters. She's at Whole Fit. She has this lab that she has created called the Beautiful Life Lab. So that is a paid kind of entry. She's been doing it for years, and I think this is my third year doing this with her. So she's created this system this last January, where it's so streamlined, and it's literally changed every aspect of my life. Okay, so I just want to show you guys a few things, but before we get into it, some of you watching might be like, this is a little bit intense or a little bit extreme. I want to that's okay, right? That's okay. You can say it's extreme. Okay, it's what works for me. I want you to take a second and think about how much time you spend thinking about things, or overwhelmed, or in the overwhelm, or maybe you're, hey Lisa, maybe you're in the overwhelm, maybe you're in the I hate, what's that word? You go around your house where you're kind of just pittering and pattering around, just like doing random stuff. So we're talking about organization now, and how some of my systems. Okay, so yeah, instead of, I forget where I was going with that, but anyway, let's just get into it and I'll show you. So I'm gonna just turn you over here for a sec. I thought I had my paper up here, but I actually don't. I have created a calendar for cleaning. Okay, this is something that is so vital for me, because as a business owner and a busy mom of 2 kids at home, I definitely get in the zone. Sometimes you're like, oh, since I'm here, I'm just gonna clean this, or since I'm here, I might as well just vacuum the living room. And before long, that takes up all your time in your day, right? Instead, you should be looking at your calendar. This is what I do, is I look at my calendar and I say, okay, this is what I have to do right now, and I'm gonna focus on that. If I'm bathing my kids and I'm supposed to be folding laundry and I see the bathrooms, the bathroom mirror needs to be cleaned, the perfectionist in me wants to just stop everything else and clean that, right? But I'm like, no, okay, I'm just not gonna do that right now. I'm focusing on this task at hand, so that tonight I have all the time that I need to do the work, or that I need to do tonight, or get done whatever else I need to get done in the day. Or if I don't take the time now to do something like fold laundry, then it's gonna get backed up, and tomorrow night I'm gonna have to fold double the amount of laundry, and it's gonna take more time away from my work hours and my day and my time, right? So I try to stay on schedule as much as I can. And some of you might be like, well, it's a little bit intense. That's okay. Okay. That's okay. It's definitely a learning curve, and a learning kind of like trial and error, and you just figure out what works for you. But for me, I really focus on the task at hand, like I said, and I know where I need to spend my time and where I don't need to spend my time. What is not important right now. For example, Right now, my kids went to bed a little bit early. I have this extra time to spend on here talking to you guys and also get to work on a few other projects that I have going on instead of washing the dishes. Okay, those are choices that I've made that free up my time in other areas. Tomorrow morning when I get up, yeah, I'm gonna have a few dishes to do, but that's okay because I can do that with my kids, right? I cannot work while I'm with my kids. I can do dishes while I'm with my kids, that's fine. They'll sit on the counter with me or whatever, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna take you out of here and I'm gonna switch you around. I'll show you on my computer because I don't have my paper form here. Wow, I changed my filter. Got like eyeshadow on. That's funny. Okay, here we are. So this is my cleaning calendar that I have I've created. It's in my kitchen, and every morning this is what I do. Every evening this is what I do. And then every week I have a different task. Okay, so I'm not thinking about these things. And then every month I have a different task that I do every Saturday. Every third Saturday or every fourth Saturday, then I do one of those things. So what this does is frees up my brain space for thinking about things other than when did I last change my sheets, right? I don't need to think about that shit. When did I last, when did I last mop my floors? Who cares, right? It's on my sheet. I mop my floors on Wednesdays and I mop my floors on Saturdays. Okay, there's so many different things that I don't have to be spending my time thinking about. I can focus 100% in on what I'm doing in that moment. Okay, so that's the cleaning calendar. That is amazing for, as a mom, like 1,000%. I'm like, okay, every Monday I change my sheets and that's just what happens. Okay, there's no thinking involved. And I love, the less I have to think about, the better, because I've got a lot of other things going on. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, so what I do, first of all, if you have never kind of done kind of a review of your last week, or even just like done anything to this sort, it's a good idea, and especially if you're in business for yourself, to get everything out of your head and onto paper. Okay, get it all out. I personally use a virtual like notes on my computer and my phone, just because whenever I have an idea, I write it down in my notes. I'm a big I have a lot of ideas all the time coming in, downloads, whatever you want to call them. I write them down in that list. I call it the parking lot because that's what Ange calls it. The parking lot is literally all my ideas in one place. And then as I get time throughout my day or my night or my work hours or whatever, I take a look at the parking lot and I pick 3 things that I want to get done. So that takes us to here. So first of all, we want to review the previous week, see how we can kind of critique what happened. So it's like, what went well that I can blueprint going forward. So for example, it's like, oh, well, I really enjoyed that walk me and the kids went on yesterday morning. Like, it really felt good to get out early and go for that walk before we, did other things. Or maybe I took the kids to a kids group or whatever on Thursdays, and I'm like, okay, that went really well. Let's blueprint that, bring it into the next week, and see if it continues to go well, so that I know that every day, the following week, that same day has that same kind of thing going on. And that's what you can do with anything. So say you maybe went to yoga on Saturday morning, you're like, well, that really felt good and it fit into the schedule really well. Let's blueprint that going forward and put it into the schedule going forward. Once things start to not feel good or not work out, then get it off the schedule, whatever. Okay, so what did not go well that I need to optimize? So that's like things like, I am all about optimization, automation, getting things out of your brain. What did not go well in your week that you need to optimize? Optimize could be like, asking for help, delegating, getting someone else to do that task. What did it not go well? Maybe you are, a business owner and you're like, I hate dishes or something like that. Or dishes seem to be taking up all of my time. That's just a weird example, but you're like, okay, I need to think about how I can optimize this. So how I can maybe hire some help or get an hour, whatever, every couple days for someone to take my kids for an hour or two or something like that. So whatever did not go well, you take a look at it and you optimize it. Okay, this is a space for the parking lot, a physical, you can write it, obviously write it down. That's just brain dumping again, your ideas that maybe you didn't get finished, and we'll get to that in a second. Gratitude, growth, I forgive and release. That's really important to be grateful for where we are right now, because even when we get to maybe like that goal or that thing we're striving for, if we're not grateful for what we have now, then we'll still feel the same when we actually reach that place, right? Okay, so the weekly lab, this is where you're going to take a look at your parking lot. So you're brain dumping. Maybe even if you're not a business owner, you still have things to do, especially if you're a mom, right? You have things you need to get done. So that's your parking lot. And then from there, when you're planning out your week, you have 3 spaces to fill in, to take from your parking lot to fill in to actually complete your week. So 3 ideal things that you want to get done that day. There's a space for meal planning. Meal planning is so vital. I tend to fail at this one a lot of the time because I'm so sporadic still in that area. Eating is not one of my favorite things to do, and I totally fail at that one. So I forgive and release is key. I keep adding the same name every week, but that's what it takes sometimes. Totally. And I really like the gratitude place because I'm like, it makes me sit back and like actually take a look at what I've actually got and like, wow, like I am really grateful for what I have and all the things like that, because it's hard to not get caught up in that, always striving to get something else. Meal planning, and then there's a space for movement. So movement gets energy flowing, even if it is just a little walk outside with the kids. I always try to, like 100%, we get outside and walk every single day. Of course, I'm striving to, go for a little run with the kids or something like that. But honestly, I'm dying in this cold weather. It is killing me to get outside in this cold weather. So I just move my body inside. Some yoga, some little circuit movements and things like that. And then there's another section here for audio. So development is so massive. If you own your own business, if you don't own your own business, personal development is you growing as a person and up-leveling, evolving, whatever you want to call it. This is so vital for progression in life. Okay, so personal development books, there's a little section for writing down little ones like that. My favorite right now, Rachel Hollis. Ange Peters also has a podcast that I love listening to. I always am listening to like 3 or 4 or 5 different audiobooks, and I kind of just bounce between them, and all the podcasting that's available today is amazing. Okay, so then there's grateful for, again, sending love to, and the parking lot again. So this is so vital to my week and how everything goes. I try to fill it in every Sunday night. This is what I sit down and just take a look at what I need to get done. I fill in my appointments. Honestly, I have a hard time keeping it to 3 things, okay? But I try to just fill in the parking lot space and put in 3 solid things that need to get done. This is not my calendar, okay? This is not my calendar. My calendar, I use Google Calendars, and it is like chock full of reminders and events and whatever I have going on. I utilize that, like, and I heavily rely on it. This is just my like top priorities in my business, in my life, or whatever to do. Okay, I have one more thing to show you, and then I'm gonna let you go. Another thing I love to do is every night before bed. So it's Sunday night, I'll tentatively plan my whole week, okay? From there, every night before bed, I take a look and review and look at what I said needs to get done that following day and make any changes that I need to. Every night before bed, I take a look at my calendar, make sure I know what's happening the next day. Okay, and then from there, in the morning when I wake up, most days, if not all, I'll take a piece of paper and I'll draw the 4 quadrants. Just like this. Okay, it often looks like this too. This is me. So we have I always have work, I always have myself, and I have my kids and my house. Okay, those are the 4 quadrants that I focus on, and I write down, maybe it's 3 things in each one of those. Honestly, sometimes as a mom, it's hard to get 3 in the one place. Maybe it even looks like take a shower, or do 15 minutes of yoga or something like that, or drink, 3 mason jars full of water today. Like simple tasks like that. We don't need to be like brainstorming the world and overwhelming ourselves and like putting all this pressure on ourselves. Start where you can actually make some movement, which is going to help your everything, right? It's going to help you stick to a routine when you start to make just small changes, right? Eventually you can work up to committing yourself to bigger, more extreme things, but start small, okay? So that's all I've got for you. That's a little bit of behind the scenes of how I plan and how I plan for success, because prior preparation prevents poor performance. It's known. It's a legit thing. If we're flying by the seat of our pants, like my mom all the time, we are literally like missing opportunities. We're missing so much, period, right? Okay, and we're scattered, we're overwhelmed, we're confused, all the things, okay? Okay, you guys, hopefully that was interesting. Leave any comments for me if you have any questions. I did get these sheets from Angie's program, so you can send me a DM if you want to. But yes, thanks for watching and have an awesome night, and I'm gonna get to planning, and so should you. Bye.